What's the chance that's again? A little bit of this, a little bit of this. Okay, welcome back to another video where we're talking about the chapter 2 of the hook point, which is titled Tesla, the Blair Witch, and Your Guide to Creating a Perfect Hook Point. Okay, now you're probably wondering, why am I sitting here in a t-shirt with a tie on? It's because a lot of us think that we're putting on our best professional selves, although we're still walking around, not physically so much walking around with a tie on top of a t-shirt and a clip-on tie at that on a t-shirt. But a lot of us are representing ourselves with the attitude, with the behaviors of someone walking around with a tie over a t-shirt, assuming to be a suit and tie. Okay. So previously from the last chapter, the hook point is defined as can be composed of text and insight, point of view, a philosophy or a person, thought, concept, idea or format, a personality, performance, a product or service, or a combination of all of these elements. Okay. So when we went over chapter 1 on, I believe it was last week, we were just basically getting introduced into all these definitions, the unique selling posts, the tagline, your mission statement, and then what a hook point is. Okay, so right now I want you to go ahead and get out your pen and your paper or a pencil or wherever you're using to take notes, because like I said in the previous video, it's a lot of just okay, so they give you quick tips and recaps, which we're gonna get to towards the end of the video once I go into depth about some of the points in this chapter. It gives you a lot of examples of people who are already successful. Like I was saying, people like Mr. Beast, Chris Do. Well, I don't think I really seen examples of Chris Do in here. Well, I haven't went all the way through the video, but Mr. Beast is one of the most successful people, you know, on YouTube that everyone uses as an example who has mastered, you know, the algorithm and how to capture people's attention, especially using this example of 3 seconds with the hook point. Okay, so one thing that you want to be thinking about while you're trying to create the perfect hook point, you want to think, how can I solve my audience's specific plan, point, or problem? You want to tap into people's desires. You want to make sure that you're getting your client to pay attention to you long enough to have the opportunity to express the value of your product, line, service, and or brand. You want to appear unique and desirable and different. When choosing hook points, it's important to keep specificity in mind. Specificity. I'm sorry. Oh, that word tear me up. It's important to basically niche down. Basically, to know what your brand, who your audience is. The same thing that we were talking about when I was teaching the brand identity. You want to make sure that you know who you're selling to. Okay? Think about what makes your brand or your product unique, completely different from others in your field. So basically, a whole bunch of people do YouTube. And if you niche down to your audience and what you're trying to do, you need to make sure you know what makes you unique, what makes you stand out, what makes people click on your videos. Okay? You want to give people new perspectives or outlooks on a familiar topic, meaning like, how can I give this example? I was reading Trash Man and Cash Man, the Myron Golden book, and he was talking about a car accident to where 4 people, he was describing the 4 windows of opportunity, to where 4 people see a car accident, but they all witnessed the same car accident, but they all have 4 different perspectives on what happened, and because they all viewed it from a different perspective. So yeah, they all seen the same car accident, but this person seen this person seen this person seen this, that the other people might not have seen. So that's what my example is. Let's just use 4 YouTubers for example. You go to one YouTuber for this, he might give you 2 of the same points that another YouTuber gave you, but he gave you 2 additional points that another YouTuber didn't give you. Same thing if you go to the doctor. You always get a second opinion, even though, you know, your primary physician might have said that this is, you know, going to be the outcome. Okay. You want to make sure that you understand what keeps your audience up at night. What that means is, what are you passionate about? What you can't go to sleep at night? What makes you feel so comfortable, or that you're so passionate about that you want to educate somebody else about it, or it's such a burning passion that you want to share it with your neighbor or share it with your coworker or whoever you believe that, you know, will believe in your influence. You want to tap into the problems that keep your audience up at night, jump into their mind and teach them something new. If you describe people's problems better than they can, they'll subconsciously believe that you have their solution. You want to use hook points to show prospects, I understand the problem. Sometimes backlash makes sales, basically meaning that all publicity is good publicity. Some people say that all publicity is not good publicity, but some people make millions of dollars off of bad publicity. Okay, you want to craft your strategies behind people responses, meaning you want to trial and error the hook points, which we're going to get into a little bit more later in this video. You want to trial and error your hook points and make sure that you're basically doing what people are responding to, doing what people, resonate to, while making sure that it's authentic to yourself. You want to look for pain points so you can show them what I can do to provide them with the maximum amount of value. So look for pain points mean what experience has this person came to you and said, they're experiencing that's causing them trouble, that's causing them pain. I remember maybe about 3 videos ago, I was telling the situation about, you own a mobile service van and your aunt needs you to take her 2 children to school. The pain point is she doesn't want her kids to be involved in sex trafficking. She works overnight. So the best thing that you can do is make sure that her kids get to school for a commission fee of however far the school is from her house. Okay? You want to invoke interest and build upon that. The if/then formula. This is something new. Point out your prospect problems or needs after them. If you have a product that can improve someone's dating life, if you're looking to increase the amount of dates you get with attractive, high-quality, smart women/men who have it together, this is going to be one of the most important things you read. So that's just an example of the if-then formula. So basically saying, how I say, if you have a product that can improve someone's dating life, it says, if you're looking to increase the amount of dates you get with attractive, high-quality, smart women/men, that's the if. Then, who have it together, then this is going to be the most important thing you read. Basically saying like, okay, when I start my video, I'm saying, if you looking for how to, capture the 3-second attention of your viewer, your audience member, or your followers, or however you want to call the people who, support you, then this is going to be the right video for you because I'm giving you all the information that you need. I hope that makes sense. You want to create for your audience, not for yourself. So a lot of us think, oh, this is entertaining to me, but your audience don't care about what's entertaining to you. They're coming to you to find entertainment about, things that they're interested in. That's why they clicked on their video, because if we want to be honest about it, a lot of people can be selfish, and I would be selfish with my time too. So when people get on the internet and when they get on Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and Tumblr and all these spaces, they're looking for stuff that they're interested in. They're not looking for something that you're interested in talking about, or you need to convince them that they're interested in talking about it. Okay, so like I said, you want to create for your audience, not yourself. Create content that adds value to people's lives. New brands have to work so much harder, meaning like myself, if you're a new brand and you don't have millions and millions of dollars or thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to support your upbringing, with your business, it's going to be harder for you because you just don't have that support system as someone who's been running a business for 20 years and got millions and hundreds of thousands and loans and all kind of business experience, behind them. You have to be realistic about how important your brand and topic of your content is in people's minds before you basically show it to them. So basically, you don't want to, that's just like if you come out with a bubblegum popping contest and many people, well, I don't know how common, because it's, everything in the world is so lucrative. So you don't know what, somebody can benefit from. So that's why it's a lot of trial and error when it comes to this internet thing, because like I said, I was going to use the example of someone who chews bubblegum and want to teach you how to blow bubbles. Now, I might think that's something that's easy, but there's people out there who don't know how to blow bubbles with bubblegum. But you need to make sure that you have to be realistic about things that people, so you have to think like, will people really watch this forever? Me teaching tricks on how to blow bubbles. Like, you have to make sure that you're not just creating one type of content. You got to make sure that is lucrative, that you can branch off to other things, or maybe you can, I don't know what you can do with just teaching how to blow bubbles, but you have to make sure that your content is engaging, entertaining, if that's your goal, to make sure that your prospects are staying around. So if I was just to create an effective hook point, you want to use as few words as possible. So a lot of people, not a lot of people, but a lot of YouTubers and a lot of business and seminars that I've sat through and watched, or, went to, they say that you want to talk on a third grade education level. Third grade education level, because that's the most basic that everyone can understand, communication between each other. When you try to use big words or increase your vocabulary to people, who aren't as fast as you, you're going to lose them, because sometimes it can be intimidating trying to talk to someone who is using so many big words, and you didn't go to school for all that, but you're successful in your field, so that's why it's very important that you fix your vocabulary and fix your language and fix your communication skills, because if you can't talk to people, then you're limiting your money. If you can't have a conversation with someone, you're limiting your money. So if all you have in your vocabulary bank is words that's college level SAT prep, you might want to change that. So we can use as few words as possible. And I recommend having a third grade education level when having a conversation. Number 2, you want to remain true to who you are and why you exist as a brand. If unrelated, it will come across as clickbait and inauthentic. So basically saying, like, if you're trying to get into this to make money, people gonna know. They're gonna see the energy. They're gonna see how you feel when you recording your videos. They're reading your body language. Y'all reading me right now. So people gonna know if you genuinely want to be creating this content, or you just doing it for a coin. And most people don't, continue this whole thing when it's not making money. They make about 3 videos, and then they get to clowning, because clowning is what, they pay Black people to do nowadays on content. Number 3, make people think differently. As you probably heard earlier in this video, you want to make sure that you're changing the perspective, or changing an idea, or challenging the idea of your viewer. And if not, they don't have a reason to really click on your video. Don't make people think very hard. It's presented in a simple to understand manner. So that's just like number 1, use as few words as possible. You want to make this so simple that people understand on the first go around when you explain it. And then, because once you start giving, that's just like when you go to the grocery store, or not grocery store. I just use the example from when I worked at GameStop. When you go in there and you buy a system or whatnot, you about to pay $500, $600, for a brand new system, depending on what you're about to play. Let's just say, just a gaming console. And when you buy this $500, $600 gaming console, they're gonna offer you. They're gonna say, "Do you want headphones? Do you need a charger? Do you need this game? Do you need more space? Do you need, whatever the online system for that game is, deluxe version? Do you know that this video game is out? Do you know that we have toys, t-shirts, and all this kind of stuff?" So it's presented to you in a simple manner. They don't make it real hard, okay? If you make stuff real hard, I explained that to explain the sales pitch. So when they ask you about the t-shirts, the games, and the space and all that kind of stuff, they're not making it hard for you. They're not trying to make you think when it's coming like that. It's just like, well, you might need the headphones because you play online. You might need the online card because you play the video games online. You're gonna have to pay for online membership. Well, if you need this, need this video game, or if you want to play these video games together at the same time, then you're gonna need more storage on your system. So it's subconsciously making you solve your own issues that you may run into the future. But it's not presented in a difficult way. It's presented simply to understand. Don't make people think too little. If someone doesn't think at all about your hook, then it's probably being ignored. So basically, you don't want to make it so simple to where someone is just like gonna pass over your video, or is like, I already know what they're talking about. They're not challenging my beliefs. They're not doing anything different than the next YouTuber, or they're not doing nothing that I can't do. Okay, they don't seek value, within your video or your information. So you need to make sure that, this is something that people are thinking about, at least at the most basic level, that it runs across their mind, not they just viewed it and didn't give two craps about it. You want to make sure that you stand out with originality. Okay, so I think it's a limit to this one. You want to stand out with originality, but you want to also make sure that you're what's the word? I don't want to say monetizing, but you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of other people's content, not doing it verbatim, their video, but you want to take tips, hooks, and tricks, from their videos and make it into your own, you know. You want to make sure that it has an element of curiosity that leaves audiences wanting more. We want to make sure it number 8, combines a common/relatable element with something that is unique and draws the audience in. So like T.S. Madison is a big advocate for the LGBTQIA community, and she stands heavily for that. And that's just one of the reasons why I stick around and view her content all the time, because she's a proud advocate for and not so represented community. Number 9, can be grasped quickly. Make sure your hook point can be understood in 3 seconds. So basically, this is the same thing. A lot of these points are kind of the same thing that drive into each other, such as use few words as possible. Don't make people think too much, or don't make them think too little. Make sure that it can be simple and understood easily. Make sure the hook point can be understood in 3 seconds, which is the reason why we're reading this book. Next, how to develop a hook point. Your first 2 steps is you need to study what works. Looking at other brands' hook points help you refine your craft and where hooks come from. This is where hooks come from: book titles, social content, meme cards, headlines, concepts, launch campaigns, article headlines, TV commercials, social media ads, print ads. And you should not steal other people's hook points, because people are going to know, especially the ones that are real attention grabbing, because those are most of the ones that go viral. Okay. Step 2, learn from what doesn't work. A lot of people keep creating the same content that doesn't work, that's not getting the right responses. This is different from being an underdog who has something to say, but you don't want to keep pushing dead content basically for too long, because it's not reaching nobody. So you got to change your trajectory and change how you're packaging what you're trying to say to your audience. Okay, so hooks that are generally ineffective because they're too wordy, they're confusing, they're vague, overused hooks. That can go from do not steal hook points, because people can tell when you trying to recycle somebody else's hook point with another label. 5, not relevant to a specific audience, meaning that nobody can relate to it. 6, is outdated, not relevant to today's society/culture, meaning that the topic is too old, nobody cares about it anymore. 7, created with the assumption that people are already interested in a particular topic, meaning that just because you're interested in something don't mean that your audience is going to be interested in it. They're bored. Number 8, being inauthentic, meaning the same thing that I was talking about. You just on here to get a coin. You're not really here to try to teach or educate somebody or entertain them, for however long that they're on that platform. Number 9, you're not unique enough. Basically, you're just a carbon copy. You're an industry plant. You're not your own person. You don't have your own ideas, and you're just repeating somebody else's message. Number 10, unappealing or use language that doesn't basically catch the eye. Meaning, basically, if you want to spill homophobic rhetoric, xenophobic rhetoric against the disability community, if you want to get in here and say uneducated things, people are not going to support you. People are not going to put their money behind something that they don't believe in or don't respect, and doesn't respect them or their community. Step 3, you want to make sure that you create your own. Put yourself in customer shoes. Get some inspiration. Intently study corporations that you like to be that was step 2. Number 1 is put yourself in your customer shoes. Number 2, get some inspiration. Intently study corporations that you like to be like. So basically, a lot of YouTubers tell you when you first begin in YouTube, you want to be authentic, be yourself, and you want to niche down, and then you need to look for somebody who's in your niche, who has around the same amount of followers or more, and you need to be doing what they're doing if you want to be successful. Number 3, take your time to notice the headlines. Which are compelling to you? Which ones are the most effective examples for you? Create mock-ups of suggested videos on every platform. Once you created the mock-up, insert / make thumbnail titles and headlines to see which one get lost in the fog. Create as many hook points as you can. Okay, so right here next to this notes, I put on here, think big, bitch. If you know what that is, so I just want y'all to know that this is coming from the book verbatim. I took these notes. Okay. Hours and hours and hours. But yeah, so you want to be thinking big, think different. Once your list is completed, narrow it down to 3 choices. So basically what this means is trial and error. Now, I can't lie. Creating thumbnails is hard as hell on YouTube, especially when I'm trying to do one for my reaction videos, and I'm trying to make sure that my face is on there along with the whoever I'm talking about faces on there, along with a catchy title. And I just recently learned from Myron Golden that you have to change your thumbnail title from your actual title of your video, and then it's a whole strategy about asking a question in the thumbnail, then making a statement, kind of answering a question in the thumbnail and the title of the video. That blows my mind, because growing up, I would never thought that people put this much into a YouTube video. That is really a lot. And right here on step 3 of the other step 3, create your own, it's saying that you need to create multiple thumbnails, multiple because this is an ongoing journey. This is not going to be, I'm going to record 20 videos and I'm going to be a viral sensation, the biggest thing on YouTube. Now, that could be your journey. I'm not saying that it's not possible. I'm saying that it's highly unlikely. So make sure that you're completing as many mock-up thumbnails and titles and headlines to see which ones get lost in the fog and which ones stick, because that's how you create viral content. The ones that stick are the ones that become viral. Step 4, compare your hook point. Now, I'm not too fond of comparing yourself to others, but you need to compare yourself to what works and what doesn't work. So if someone hook point over here is always going viral, they always getting attention, always getting click-through rate impressions, then you need to compare that to what you're submitting to your audience, what you're putting out on the internet, and say, okay, I'm trying to get views like this person. What am I doing to not allow myself to get views like them? You want to take the original hook points you just created and compare them to successful hooks from step 1. Test. That's the biggest thing out of all this. The internet, your journey on the internet, you're going to be testing all the time, trying to test the algorithm, trying to test what your audience is trying to see, trying to test what your audience is interested in, while you're trying to create and package your own idea of your own products to sell to your audience. I know it's a lot. It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. Step 5, test, reiterate, and repeat, which is kind of what I just said. You just want to keep doing it over and over again. So I know that was a lot of information, and I hope that, you had your pen and paper out and, you took some notes. But this is the quick tips and recap, and then I'm going to let you go ahead and get out of here. When creating hook points, think about what makes you a product. When creating hook points, think about what makes your product unique and can benefit people's lives. You want to change people's expectations with hook points and take common beliefs and flip it on its head. People will stop and pay attention if you associate your brand with timely, interesting topics that meet your audience's needs. I want you to think about your prospects and the issues they may be facing and how to solve them. Fix the way that you package your information into bite-sized chunks. Test it out in hook points. Figure out the news. Next, follow the latest trends and stay ahead of them. Refer to the 5 steps of creating a hook point, which we just went over. If your audience has to think hard or not at all, then your hook point is not a good choice. Narrow down to the best 3 choices, meaning the best hook points, thumbnails, headlines that you have created in the batch and the mock-ups, and pick 3 of them. Get inspiration. Basically, go out into the world, get experiences, see what people are talking about, watch blogs, watch the news, watch regular TV, but you need to watch it with a different lens. Okay? You are a content creator now. And number 11, which is the most important out of this whole chapter 2, is continuously test hook points. All right, Fantastic Gang, I hope that you really indulged and you love this and you really got something important. Chapter 3 is coming. As you already see, I got it right here. Boom. I'm ready for you. All you gotta do is let me know if you're ready. Okay, just let me know how fast you want the content and it's gonna come out to you. Okay? And I'll see y'all in the next video.